Somebody named CM has commented on the most recent scavenger jump video, and they said, Junt, 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 the BoxMac man. Done did I am the BoxMac fan. I don't like that guy that's with you. I'm so done did with myself. Junt, you're my only hope. Save this channel. Fire him. Hire me. I assume they're talking about me, although in this particular video, I'm not featured. So
Yeah.
There we go.
I'm going to link you to the video, to the Halloween Special 2017. And get hype, get hype, get hype.
All set.
Those aren't the Australian chocolates, are they?
No, these, no. They're Market Basket peanut butter cookies.
Have you been going to that new Market Basket?
Oh, you know it.
I have not been there yet.
I was kind of hoping to maybe go for the first time on camera.
I told you when I was going.
What the fuck do you mean? You're like, I'm shopping, and unless you follow me with a camera that day.
That's the way it works, man.
You waited 30-some years for a Market Basket. You couldn't have waited a couple more days.
I go shopping on Friday mornings. You're welcome to join me.
Every Friday morning you're at Market Basket?
Yes.
Friday mornings?
Yes.
When people work?
I work. I have every other Friday off, and then I work from home every other Friday. So I'm always available Friday morning.
Hello?
Hi.
Hello.
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 Welcome to Australia.
This might be tricky. I'm actually on my tablet, not on my desktop. So,
Jeff, I want results, not excuses.
Yes. Where are we live right anyway? On YouTube?
We are live on YouTube for about 0 viewers.
Oh, gee.
Okay.
So, nobody will find out about that stuff you do. Is the fucking link up yet?
The link is ready for me.
Well, I know, John. You've been to Market Basket and back already.
Yeah, twice.
We got one guy who doesn't talk at all, and it's just like a picture of a hot dog. So,
holy crap, this is long.
Well,
we were shooting for a 5-minute mark, but it just blew up.
Yeah.
When I saw the TV spot for this, I'm like, I was literally like, how are you guys going to top last year? And then I saw that. I'm like, no freaking way.
Sometimes we just top ourselves in length alone, by no other criteria.
Quantity over quality.
Ready?
Yeah.
Ready?
1, 2, 3. In the content crapshoot YouTube, 2 men are testing tastes.
Yay.
Yay!
Excellent. Quality special. Woo!
Do you guys like it?
Very good.
Yeah. Do you guys have any questions about the production?
I think early in the production, you had mentioned that there was the dude that built the sets. Was he the guy that was on Junting Around or Scavenger Junt?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is
and
the
he's
same
been
answer.
in some of your other stuff, right?
Yeah, he had approached me about hey, if you need anybody to even just hold a boom pole or do anything like that, I'm available. And it came at the right time where normally it's mid-August when I have to start planning for okay, what are we doing for the Halloween show? So that gives us a month and a half kind of to prep and then shoot and then edit. And I was starting to devise all I knew for sure is that I wanted the show to be called BoxMac 3 Season of the Witch. I was really set on that for a while. And then Zach came up with the brilliant riff of Seasoning of the Witch. And I really wish that we could have done whatever the fuck that is. But then it being busy with baby stuff and with everything going on, it was I don't know how we're going to make a Halloween special. So the MST3K idea was okay, so maybe we have a couple of cardboard props and most of the show are the riffs in the theater. And that's a little bit lower effort and that'll turn out okay. But I hadn't thought of Matt for help. So then Matt approaches me and goes, just, it must have been the 17th time in the past year that he was just so you know, I'm available to help with stuff. And this is the first time I was responsive to it, where I was like, can you make a bunch of Mystery Science Theater looking things out of cardboard? And he's like, of course. He's like, in fact, we should make a robot out of that Mac thing. That was his idea. And I was like, so what would it look like? And he was like, I don't know. We'll figure it out. And then, of course, in the next week, he was like, so Frankie, what should it look like? I'm like, I thought this was your idea. But the most important things were if we were gonna nail the intro, we needed of course the globe. we needed the Noodle of Love, the spaceship that we're in, and we needed definitely a backdrop of some kind. And then it was like, okay, well, there's also the screen element to it. So very quickly, it actually became probably easily the hardest of the 3 Halloween specials. Like almost immediately. And as you guys know, we don't really do a lot of green screen work normally. Like I can't remember the last time we used a green screen. So
10 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, falling off a bridge.
3 or 4 features ago. So many years since we've done a green screen. I hadn't even done any keying in my program in a long time. But anyway, and you'll see the video blog when it comes out, which is ready to go too. That's going to come out Halloween Day, I believe, as Tuesday content. But in any event, we also needed space, because we also don't really have a lot of space to shoot this kind of stuff. So Matt's grandmother was selling her house near Providence, and it was empty, and it was accessible to us, and we could kind of, so we ended up doing a full day of shooting there, and they had a finished basement. The table that the puppets are on was like a pool table that was in that space. And I guess the night before, he had spent all night, because he had really been focusing on the globe and a couple of the other props, but he hadn't done the backdrop yet. And I kept being like, Matt, the backdrop is like most of the show. And he ended up erecting that the night before. And I thought we all walked around and we're like, holy crap, it's awesome. And as great as it was, then we set up the camera and just sort of, shot it in 4:3. And I was like, oh my God, it looks like, as soon as it was like that television frame rate of 30 frames, it was like, holy crap, it looks like 3,000, like a lot. So it's like, can we just make like a revival show with Mystery Science Theater and hell we have this thing? So it was really cool. It was a really fun day of shooting. But in the end, like the amount of effort he put in proportionate to the amount of time that all those things end up on screen, it's like kind of tragic.
Yeah, some of that stuff was really incredible, and especially the door sequence. They were actually bigger and kind of cooler props, but for technical reasons, we couldn't really show too much of them. But
I thought came out good though. But you'll get to see them in their full glory in in the blooper reel. But yeah, that was I when Matt kind of came to the table, I was like, well, this will take a lot of the. It'll be a big special thing without me having to spend a tremendous amount of time trying to make it happen. But it ended up being just as hard, easily. But yeah, Matt was definitely the savior of this special for sure. The clips, you guys as big fans probably recognized a lot of the clips we were riffing on as either having been featured on like an After Hours or as having been shared on the Reddit. So they were pretty much all fan submitted stuff. And then as far as the timing and all that, like with Mystery Science Theater, they really, as you guys probably know, they watch the movie and they write all the jokes exactly at time code, and then they have to sort of in one take nail all of the riffs, or if they miss it, they can sort of ADR over just that piece. But nevertheless, the video is continuous because there's no cuts. It's a constant wide shot of them in silhouette. But because John and I often, like on After Hours, for instance, we'll just watch a show and extemporaneously speak about it. We decided to go that way, but we didn't. Matt was doing the puppet, and we didn't necessarily want him to be trying to puppeteer while riffing off of what we were saying. That seemed like it was going to be a recipe for like unfunny failure. And so the jokes that you heard were written by me later. And then I had Matt record them. And then that was kind of in the more traditional MST3K way of like time coded out. And it was much easier because suddenly now he could actually respond to the things John and I were saying, which was kind of cool. The Mac was awesome, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Try it out. Is the recipe up on the website now, Frankie?
It launches with the show, with the episode.
Awesome.
Yeah. /recipes. Who here has ever made a recipe off one of our recipes off of that site?
Not yet.
Well, technically, I have.
I mean, I have too. If you want
The
I actually haven't.
sort of sad truth is that I don't actually like macaroni and cheese that much because I'm lactose intolerant, which makes my fandom of the show incredibly tragic.
There probably is some. I bet if we polled the audience, there'd be some shocking percentage that aren't really macaroni and cheese.
Yeah,
fans.
that don't actually like macaroni and cheese.
Well,
I think
I've
that's
been fans of
definitely
you guys
true.
for years, so like.
Right, you're a Red Cow fan first, a BoxMac fan second, sort of.
Basically, yeah, because you even back like my favorite one you did back then was probably when you baked the turkey, and I'm like, that might be something I'll do someday. I already did like a whole chicken. And
Well, they got me. John's talking about me trying to cook a dessert this year.
Yeah, we're gonna try that.
At least there won't be any, bloody towels on the counter from a baking dish. Hopefully.
Maybe not. We'll have to see.
My instinct is how do you up the stupidity level from there? I don't think you can. I think it might be all downhill from here, unless I don't know if you want to give me like a complex plating task.
Give you floral arranging, Frankie.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Yeah, Christmas special is going to be episode. It's going to be another 2-parter. It's going to be episodes 99 and 100. So those are doubling for the Christmas special this year, and the 100th. And then the plan is in January we'd like to emphasize Junt's cart throughout January if we can.
And scavenger junts. Don't forget about scavenger junts.
Well, we probably would sprinkle those across more time, considering that as the winter comes in and we can't shoot as many. But I know people have been asking for a lot more Junt's carts, and we haven't been delivering.
Have you guys done one at a Benny's yet? Since they're going to close.
Well, we did do the Bennies 2 years ago, but maybe it makes sense to do a follow-up. Although I'm hearing that it's real close to being closed.
Yeah, it's pretty much gone, unfortunately. A lot of them have already closed. There's still one in Fall River, I think, but there's hardly anything left.
Well, that might be fun.
As now a former Benny's employee, actually, because I grabbed the job with the one that lived near me, Fall River's probably going to be the last one to close because that's one that they own outright. They're renting. No, they're renting it, which means that they're paying the entire year, which means that they're going to get every drop out of that.
I see.
When they closed my location, they were doing the 40% off, which meant we just cleared out of all of our stuff. And then they stopped doing that, so people just walk in, oh, it's not 40% off, and leave. So,
see that, John? That's what you get for being a smartass.
Well, no, hey, I mean,
the Benny's employee shows up and tells you what's what. I think it's good because I'd like to check it out. Didn't we? We did have we want to go buy a Christmas tree.
Oh yeah,
yes.
To go to a Christmas tree farm and cut down a tree or something.
Yeah, the plan is to have similar to last year's segments, and one of them is we're gonna get a Christmas tree. I
don't know if we can do it, but I have a dream of those holiday soundtracks where they scroll the tracks and then one of them's highlighted and they're you can hear the song.
Oh yeah.
I want to go back to every time we've broken into made up songs in the kitchen and get studio recordings of them by a real vocalist. and just pair it to stock footage of a cat in a living room.
But we can't
that would be lovely.
You should have Zach read it in monologue and have it be the best of boring.
That's true. I know a few vocalists in my life who, I'd love to try to make them sing I lost my second spoon, Frankie.
I lost my second spoon, Frankie.
Who's the vocalist from Abel the Who Monkey who did You Can Cry Tonight? Who was she?
That was Nicole Case.
Because I tell you what, every time you guys do You Can Cry Tonight, over and over, that always makes me laugh because it just goes on forever.
Specifically the coming. Come over me. I feel like that's a trope in 80s music, is you have the trained female vocalists duetting with the untrained male vocalist.
They're singing more rock than
rock. Specifically Meatloaf. Let's just he sings from the heart, and that's why he can't sing anymore.
He has no heart.
Have you heard him? I mean, he did this performance in Australia not too long ago that was just fucking sad.
Oh.
He's
but I won't do that.
Deflating.
And he keeps throwing it to the audience.
Take it.
Yeah, you guys.
I can't sing anymore. You guys take it.
And and then they're singing like a slightly unenergized, like I would do
Anything
get him out of the stadium. So there's that. We do have more Halloween content. There's the Sunday before Halloween Day where we did a Junt's cart at a jack-o'-lantern festival in Providence, which I think is a great little piece of content.
And I have an EJ Cooks this Thursday where I'm doing some Halloween related recipes.
Are we going to see some pumpkin ribs or what?
pumpkin spice ribs.
Pumpkin spice will definitely be involved, and the Instant Pot and the Slow and Sear will be involved. So
you don't want to reveal it? Because maybe it would spoil it for them. I don't know.
No, yeah, but it'll be fun.
Sweet.
I think so.
But
the Jack-o'-lantern Fest, I think, is I quite enjoyed. It was a little bit challenging. A little bit challenging to shoot though, because it was like once the light came completely down, you could expose for an individual pumpkin, but you couldn't expose for much outside of that. So
yeah.
Well, I thought it was kind of nice. You got to see like us at the beginning, and then you get to see the pumpkins in their full glory.
Right. I remember we were remorseful that it wasn't darker when we searched. I was glad that it wasn't.
Yeah. In the long run, it was the right thing.
Plans, man, the best laid plans. What else? Hopefully people will enjoy the Halloween show. I had actually asked before the show started to sort of form. I had asked Doug Burdorf, my filmmaking friend, if he would make a trailer to a fake mac and cheese movie, like a horror movie. I thought that'd be a funny like commercial during the middle of this. And he actually did. He actually did come through and make.
Did he?
He made something.
I didn't know anything about this.
He made something.
Oh.
He made something.
I'd be happy to share it with you all. Would you like to watch it?
Sure.
Yes,
I would love to see this.
I haven't even heard this, and I haven't seen anything from Doug in so long.
He was like, "Oh, I didn't come up with a trailer."
Uh-oh. Considering the stuff that I know Doug has made.
Doug.
It did not make it into the show, as you well know.
So Scum made you something.
Yeah. 3, 2, 1, play.
Frankie, why did you put that in? It was great.
I'm sorry, you think that belongs in the Halloween special? Most of the comments would be about it. It belongs.
What does the frogs have to do with it?
He said, couldn't figure out a trailer I was excited about, so I made a 45-second short called Mac.
I love it.
That's all he did. This is why, that's my friend.
Could go on like a Blu-ray.
It could definitely.
We'll make sure it finds its way somewhere to some content.
It's going to be in the after hours fodder, definitely.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Or we could just post it.
It's too good to not.
Just throw it up with some Tuesday.
Yes, you'd be like, what the hell is Doug Bergdorf original film?
A Tuesday bomb.
Is the channel taking a new direction? Are you guys is this BoxMac? Did BoxMac change? We got some fucking dumb fans, let me tell you. I get the occasional comment that's just like, what are you on about?
So BoxMac.
Oh, yeah, like fucking wrist cupcake.
So BoxMac.
I don't think they know what we're talking about yet because the After Hours hasn't come out yet.
Oh,
okay.
man.
We have shows banked from now until Black Friday. Actually, it goes beyond that. Yeah, we have shows banked for the rest of the year, with the exception of the 100.
We are ahead of schedule.
We're ahead of schedule, so
Yeah, because we got to get our mummer shit set up.
Yeah.
It's gonna take months to get that in order.
With the way things are in the country right now, we got to be very careful.
Told you, they're everywhere.
You can't be a mummer in this day and age.
Oh my goodness.
The goddamn mummers are marching.
What? This is not.
Tiki Torch does not support the mummering.
I just want to say, George TM that has never even heard of mummering. Oh my god! If we had balls,
I would have nothing to do with this.
we would act confused about what everybody's so angry.
We don't quite have those comedic chops, I don't think.
Yeah. I don't know what we want to do with the mummers exactly. Like, do we just literally reenact the fucking stupid video? Up to and including like the weird shaky shot of like an exterior of a house. And like John is obviously the old lady, right? I don't know. And then there's some mummers, and one of them has got no pants on. It would be great to find that 80s linoleum.
I have a non-MST3K question.
Sure.
So I've been going through the backlog of podcasts. You talked a lot about the Till Death Do Us Part documentary you were working on towards the end of things. Is that still in production? Did it finish?
The Till Death Do Us Part documentary was something that we were shooting pretty regularly from summer 2014 until about like fall 2015. And we got like 4 hours of edited footage. And then BoxMac basically happened.
Yeah.
We didn't expect BoxMac to happen. It was something we were just doing because at that time, like we would do a Junt's Cart every once in a great while. Like everything was just kind of for fun and whenever. And there was no weekly content schedule. There was certainly no bi-weekly content schedule. And and it's challenging to like sit down and focus on, like it's very time consuming to sit down and focus on constructing a narrative out of all that footage. And I every time like we catch up on all of our BoxMac stuff and get a bunch of shit banked, I sit down and try to start editing that documentary again. And then I'm like, oh guys, we have to shoot. And then like BoxMac basically whisks us away again. And I don't think that the fan base that, even though it's small, like, we very much value the 2,000 people we have. Like, I don't think that they would let me take a little time off and finish a documentary that they're only half interested in seeing anyway. So it's been something I've been trying to get done part-time. We did talked about like maybe making it a web series possibly, which could be interesting. But even that would take quite a bit of like thought and editing and, but that movie will come out. That is going to happen someday. I just have no goddamn idea when. I spent a little bit of time this summer, like banging it. And it was kind of exciting actually. I was like, this movie's pretty good. Like there's a lot of really good stuff here. By the time it comes out, we're going to look really young.
Yeah.
We shot most of it a while ago, but
maybe a little dated too.
Yeah, maybe. Hopefully not. I don't think so. There's a lot of good stuff in there. I do know that there is. I'll say this: there is a couple that we interviewed that talked about their wedding and how much things cost for them and all that stuff. And I happen to know they got divorced a year ago.
Follow-up segment.
I guess that they probably don't want to be in the documentary now, and so I just have to sort of like not talk to them about it. I don't know.
Did they sign the release form?
Yeah.
That's true.
There's a person that we really sort of profiled her and her wedding experience, and she got married now. Yeah, just about 2 years ago. So it's but there's a lot of good content there. It'll come out someday. There's a nice trailer out there if you ever want.
Yeah.
Have you seen the trailer?
I think I have seen the trailer.
Yeah, it looks nice. Looks like it could be a good movie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because we had that round table too of people.
Yeah, that was awesome.
that was
Yeah,
awesome.
that was really cool.
It's funny that like Kyle is gonna have another cinematographer credit on like a movie that hasn't come out.
He did shoot that, didn't he?
Well,
yeah.
we both did, yeah.
Yeah, EJ and Kyle. That was like the handing of the baton to EJ.
Yeah.
It was becoming more and more uncomfortable to like work with him. So, read my book if you want to learn more.
Yeah. Or listen to the audiobook, which is coming out on some Tuesdays.
Yes, yeah, that's kind of like Tuesday filler.
Yeah.
And I can tell nobody gives a fuck about it. It barely reaches 3 digits.
I listen to them.
I do too.
You are in the alpha fan category.
Yeah. Anybody on the stream is in the alpha fan category.
I mean, we outnumber you guys. You ever record an audiobook? It sucks.
Is there a blooper reel of John?
Of John doing what? You're referring to a Hawaii where we were listening to him like fuck up his tapes.
Yeah.
No, that's the only that episode of Hawaii is the only place you can listen to hilarious tape fuck ups of John reading the book. I'm gonna have you listen to some right now.
All right. When they were still fresh and not tainted by time and the real world, further set the tone for me up. It put the very last of any of my concerns to bed with the film. I was fully in love with it.
Wait.
That sentence sucks. Maybe you can edit it in the book.
When I showed up on this sentence is lousy.
It was a lousy sentence. What do you want from me?
Whole brown rice pasta side?
John read 5 minutes. I read 7 hours. He's got issues with those sentences.
I got issues with those sentences.
It makes sense. It's a proportionate response.
Yeah. Story of my life.
A proportionate response.
Yes.
The John Hunt story.
Yes.
I'm seeing more and more in the comments that people are no fan of Aaron's.
I love Aaron. He's awesome.
Aaron is,
I can understand why people wouldn't like Aaron.
Yeah, in acquired taste for sure.
He's an unknown quantity. He's like
Alexa.
I think he's like I don't know, he's like a really strong flavor. And so like, if you like that, then
He's like the black licorice.
I'm about to say that. I'm literally about to say that.
I personally think he excels in podcast form. I think that's his I think he's he's a gay Howard Stern. One thing we would love to be able, one thing we've been talking about a lot, there's no promises it's happening, but was clearing out John's old bedroom, his room of disaster, and making it into something of a set where we could shoot things like what we did the Halloween show in, but also where we could do like live video switching, so we could easily do like more video podcasts and stuff, because it seems like people would listen to the pods if they were video. Or they would watch them if they were video, or they'd have them on the background of their computer screen or whatever. And so we've been talking about kind of building like a nice little setup or something that would also be a great place to like showcase John's SNES collection if we wanted to do that or whatever.
Yeah.
But
make review lounge much easier.
Yes, yeah, like a kind of a designated space for a lot of this stuff. And then there could be lots of content, really. I mean, so much so that we probably would want to consider a second channel because people start unsubscribing if you give them too much, which is something else. But anyway, I'd love to do an Aaron-less version of Hawaii that maybe would be a little bit more palatable to the masses. I had a name idea, which was Cow Herd, but with an A in the word herd.
Ooh.
And then you could have like an ear behind it to make sure people don't think you misspelled.
The D is the ear, maybe.
What?
The D could be shaped like it has an ear shape.
There you
to it
go.
or something.
Ooh. Yeah.
Stylized ear.
I occasionally have the good design ideas, not often.
Or you'd have the word herd coming out of a cow's ear.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I can see if it's cow herd, it might not be shaped like a human.
Essentially, like the Halloween show that we just did, like doing something like that more regularly. Basically the BoxMac people talking, doing a podcast. It'd be fun.
Sure.
Be easy to produce, and maybe make them 20 minutes, half hour, something like that, instead of an hour long.
Well, like the Halloween one we did, like the hour went by really quick.
Yeah,
they kind of run away.
Yeah, exactly. Conversation is pretty easy to have.
Ideal podcast length, or does it depend on subject matter?
I don't know. I don't know if there's been any like doctoral literature written on that, but my target was always like 50 minutes for the audio stuff.
Yeah.
That always felt like a full enough meal.
Yeah, just scrolling through my podcast like subscriptions, they look like they're around 50 to an hour.
Yeah.
So that seems what people like to do.
I've been listening
under an hour, not a big deal. You go above an hour, slightly more of a big deal, I guess. Something like that.
I've been listening to this. There's one that came out this Halloween called I think it's called The Story Behind the Exorcist or something. It's meant to be one of these like dramatic limited edition pods that's like about like some special interest, or it's basically serial, but it's about the making of The Exorcist, and I thought it would be kind of spooky and fun and cool, and it was just so fucking boring. They tried to make it like a radio play a little bit. They're like tap, tap, tap. A 14-year-old William Friedkin is on the basketball court.
Oh, yeah. Well, everyone's trying to do this.
Your own butt, please. Something like that.
Yeah. Everyone's trying to do the serial thing, but like they don't have enough content to make like 8 episodes, so they just like stretch everything out.
We should do a podcast like that about macaroni and cheese.
Just like the documentary.
It's but one particular one, like the most boring one you can find, and somehow stretched to 6 episodes.
Jonathan Hunt is 14 years old. All right, guys. Well, it was fun.
Yes.
Yep. Thanks for coming on to the stream.
Thanks for coming on. I hope that the way that we watched the show didn't like ruin the show for you. Was it too clunky? I hope it wasn't. You'll watch it again.
It was fine for me. Yeah.
Okay, great.
I didn't actually get the link to the other video you guys said, so I just sort of pretended I was watching it. So I'll confess that right now.
Were you laughing when we laughed and all that kind of stuff?
Well, not exactly. I was just like, all right, let me do something. So I'm like, let me throw it. Yeah. I understand the reference.
Cool. Well, it's available to you now. I'll remind you of the password.
I'll get it at some point, I'm sure. I just was like, I can't be. It was hard enough to get the other link. I was like, you had to send through Facebook, and I'm like a grandmother.
I want to know what's so hard about bringing up that chat window in Google.
I don't know how to do it on this. I was afraid to break out of the call.
You're on an iPad? You said.
I'm on an old Google tablet.
It's a little bub. This is thing.
This little thing.
They make it for moms.
Just a little thing.
It's a thing. It's just a
little thing. You just here, and then here, and then here. And then little and you're done.
What am I seeing in his screen now? Like a weird, like
solid snake.
That's a shot from a machinima I made a while ago. That's my default thing because I tried to switch the camera, it broke. Cool. This is why I shouldn't be touching anything. But that's a screenshot from a machinima I made like 8 years ago. I sort of want to make another one.
Oh, nice. Does anybody have any questions for him about that?
See, this is what I've
Donate to his
everything breaks.
Right, is it time to go to bed?
Yes. Thanks again, guys. We'll do it again sometime.
Yes.
See you later, folks.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.